I'm Helen. I'm 92 years old, and I want to share something very important with you, something I wish I had understood much earlier in my life. You see, after 60, life has a way of asking us to give up things that matter. Sometimes it's family, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's just the world telling us we should slow down, step aside, be quiet. But I've learned the hard way that giving up the things that keep you strong, happy, and alive, that's the real danger. I've watched friends and neighbors, lovely people, full of potential, slowly lose their spark because they listen to everyone else instead of listening to themselves. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. There are 7 habits, just 7, that I believe after 60 you should never ever let go of. Not for your children, not for your spouse, not even for people you love dearly, because they are yours. They are what keep you whole. I can still remember when I was 65, thinking I should give up my daily walks because my knees ached, or maybe stop reading those long, complicated books because they were too much for me. And I almost did. I almost gave up. And I can tell you now, that would have been a mistake I saw others make, and it cost them so much: energy, clarity, joy, even dignity in some cases. I want you to hear me clearly. There are habits, small but powerful, that can keep you feeling alive, alert, strong, and most importantly, in control of your own life. And letting them go, even for the people you love, is a mistake you'll regret more than anything else. So listen carefully, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you what those 7 habits are. I'll tell you why they matter, and I'll tell you how holding on to them, even when everyone else is asking you to let go, can change your life. I want you to imagine a life where you still have energy in your legs, clarity in your mind, and pride in your choices. That life is possible if you make the choice to protect these habits, just as I did, just as I've done. And I hope by the end of this, you'll understand why some things are worth keeping, no matter what anyone says. Now, I want you to understand why these habits matter so much, because giving them up isn't just about losing comfort or convenience. It can change your life in ways you don't notice at first. I've seen it happen. People I cared for, who stopped walking a few minutes each day, who stopped challenging their minds, who let their routines and boundaries slip. At first it seemed harmless, a small sacrifice. But over the months and years, the small sacrifices added up, and they lost strength, not just in their bodies, but in their confidence, in their will. One friend, a lively woman named Margaret, used to dance in her living room every morning. She stopped because her daughter said, "Oh, don't hurt yourself. You're too old for that now." A few months later, she was unsteady on her feet, tired, frustrated. She had given away a part of herself without even realizing it. And the same with mental habits. I knew a man, George, who loved reading, puzzles, and learning new things. He stopped because people around him thought it was too much for someone his age. Within a few years, his mind seemed slower, his laughter less frequent, and his curiosity faded. That's what happens when you let outside pressures dictate what you hold on to. I don't say this to scare you, but to remind you. Your life, your energy, your joy, they depend on the choices you make every single day. And after 60, the stakes are higher. Your body isn't as forgiving, your mind isn't as resilient, and the time you have left to enjoy life is precious. It can slip away quietly if you don't guard it, if you give away the habits that sustain you. And I promise you, it's worth standing firm, worth saying no, worth insisting on your daily walks, your healthy meals, your learning, your connections, your sleep, worth keeping your routines, your boundaries, your sense of self. Because if you don't, you might wake up one morning and wonder where your strength went, where your joy went, where your life went, and you'll wish you had held on just a little tighter. That's why I'm here to tell you, these 7 habits I'm about to share, they aren't negotiable, they aren't optional. They are what will keep you alive, alert, and most of all, yourself, even if everyone else is asking you to give them up. Now let me tell you about the first few habits, the ones that I have held on to every single day since I was 60, the ones that, if you nurture them, will keep you strong, alert, and joyful. The first is movement. I know, it's easy to think, oh, I'm too old for that now, but trust me, even a short walk around your block, stretching in the morning, or gentle exercises in your chair can make a world of difference. I remember mornings when my knees ached and the cold wind bit at my face. I almost stayed inside, but I didn't. I bundled up, I stepped outside, and each step reminded me that my body was still capable, still mine. The second habit is nutrition, eating well, not for anyone else, not because someone says you should, but because your body deserves it. I still enjoy my vegetables, my fruits, my grains. I've learned that simple, wholesome food nourishes not just your body, but your mind. I used to skip meals thinking it didn't matter. Oh, I regret those days. I felt weak, dizzy, and my energy vanished. Keeping good food on my plate is like giving myself permission to live fully. And the third habit is connection, staying social, keeping in touch with friends, laughing, talking, sharing stories. After 60, it can be easy to withdraw, to think you're too old to bother anyone. But isolation steals joy faster than anything else. I've had friends who stopped visiting neighbors, who stopped calling old friends, and slowly, quietly, they became lonely. I didn't want that for myself, so I make the effort, phone calls, letters, afternoon teas with friends. Sometimes even just a smile to someone passing by. It matters. It all matters. These 3 habits, movement, nutrition, and connection, they may seem simple, but they are powerful. They set the foundation for everything else. If you can hold on to them, you've already won half the battle. And I promise you, holding on to them, even when everyone else says you don't need to, even when family or friends question you, that's where the real strength comes from. Your life, your joy, your energy, it's worth defending. And I want you to imagine yourself, a few months from now, still walking every day, eating meals that nourish you, smiling, laughing, connecting, feeling alive. That's the life these habits give you. And now, I'll tell you about the other habits that complete the circle. Habits that protect your mind, your health, and your sense of self. Now let's talk about the habits that feed your mind, because after 60, it's just as important to care for your thoughts as your body. I've learned this the hard way, watching friends lose sharpness, lose curiosity, and slowly give up on life. Keeping your mind active is not some luxury, it's a lifeline. I still read books, sometimes thick, complicated ones that take me days to finish, and I still do puzzles, crosswords, and I try to learn new things whenever I can. It doesn't have to be grand or overwhelming, just enough to stretch your brain, to remind it that it's alive. I remember when I first started learning how to use a computer. Oh, I was nervous, fumbling with the keys, feeling silly. But each new skill I mastered gave me a spark, a sense of accomplishment that no one could take away. Mental habits like these are not just about memory. They help you stay independent, alert, and confident. They slow the creeping fog that can come with age, and they make life richer. I once had a friend who stopped reading and stopped engaging with anything new. Within a few years, she forgot the small joys, the little discoveries. Her mind became quiet in a way that made her world smaller. I didn't want that for myself. So I chose to challenge myself every day in little ways. Learning a new recipe, trying a new word, even reading a book I thought was too hard. It all counts. It all matters. And the wonderful thing is, your brain responds. It stretches. It awakens. It surprises you. And along with mental exercise comes reflection. Taking time to think, to journal, to remember the good days and learn from the difficult ones. These practices protect your mind, but they also protect your spirit. They remind you who you are. So after you've tended to your body with movement, nourished it with food, and kept your heart full with connections, don't forget your mind. It needs care too. And holding on to this habit, this commitment to learning, thinking, exploring, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself after 60. It keeps you alive in every sense, alive in curiosity, in purpose, in spirit. And it's a habit worth defending, no matter what anyone says. Now let's talk about the next set of habits, the ones that protect your body, your health, and your very sense of self. These are the habits that most people after 60 neglect, often because they think they're too old or because others tell them it's not important. But I've learned that nothing could be further from the truth. The fifth habit is sleep. Restful, consistent sleep. Oh, how many times I ignored my own rest, thinking I had work to do, chores to finish, calls to make. And I paid the price. My mind foggy, my body heavy, my spirit low. Now I guard my sleep as fiercely as anything else. A regular bedtime, a calm evening routine, letting my body rest when it needs to. It makes all the difference. The sixth habit is staying on top of your health. Regular checkups, screenings, vaccinations, paying attention to blood pressure, cholesterol, bones, everything. I know it can feel tedious, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes even scary. But ignoring it can cost you dearly. Early detection, early care. That's what keeps you walking, thinking clearly, enjoying life. I've seen friends who skip checkups thinking, I feel fine, and then suddenly illness took them by surprise. And the seventh habit, perhaps the hardest for many, is protecting your boundaries, your routines, and your identity. It's saying no when people ask you to give up what matters. It's insisting on your daily walks, your meals, your reading, your hobbies, even when family or friends think it's unnecessary. I know it can feel lonely at times, to stand firm, to protect your life from interference. But I promise you, the peace, the strength, the joy you gain is worth it. I've had family members question me, ask me why I bother with my routines, why I insist on my habits. And I just smile, because I know that letting go of them would mean giving up part of myself. And I will not do that. Not now, not ever. After 60, these 3 habits, sleep, health vigilance, and personal boundaries, are the pillars that support everything else. They give you strength to move, clarity to think, joy to live. And letting them slip, even a little, is a risk you cannot afford. So I want you to feel the weight of this. Protect your sleep, your health, your identity, and do not give them up for anyone, even for people you love. Because your life, your vitality, your dignity depends on it. Now I want to tell you how to hold on to these habits, how to make them part of your life every single day. Because knowing them isn't enough, it's the doing that counts. After 60, the world will try to pull you away from what matters, friends, family, society. They'll tell you to slow down, to take it easy, to give up things that seem small but are actually the backbone of your life. And it's easy to listen. I've been tempted myself. But I've learned that small daily actions, repeated consistently, are what build a life worth living. For movement, it can be as simple as stepping outside in the morning, even for a few minutes, or stretching while the kettle boils. You don't need to run marathons. Just show up, every day. For nutrition, plan meals that nourish you, that give you energy and joy. Don't eat to please anyone else. Eat to honor yourself. Even small choices matter. A piece of fruit, a hearty bowl of soup, a handful of nuts, they add up. For social connection, make the effort. Call a friend, write a letter, share a memory, laugh at something silly. It may seem like a little thing, but it keeps your heart alive. For your mind, challenge it. Read, learn, try something new. It doesn't have to be monumental, just enough to remind your brain it's still vibrant. For sleep, set a routine. Respect your body's need for rest. For health care, schedule checkups, listen to your body, follow up. And for boundaries, oh, boundaries, protect them fiercely. Say no when you must, insist on your routines, defend your joy. It won't always be easy. Some people won't understand, some may criticize, but your life is yours, and these habits are the tools to keep it strong. I often tell myself, Helen, show up for yourself every day, even when no one else understands, and that keeps me steady, because life after 60 isn't about what others want for you, it's about what you need. And holding on to these habits consistently, even in small ways, adds up. It builds resilience, clarity, and a sense of purpose. And I promise you, if you commit to these habits, if you protect them every day, Your energy will grow. Your mind will stay sharp. Your heart will stay open. And you will feel alive in a way you never imagined. So start small, be consistent, and never let anyone steal what keeps you strong, because your life, your dignity, your joy depends on it. Now, I want you to imagine what life can be like if you truly hold on to these 7 habits. If you guard them, nurture them, and refuse to let anyone take them away. After 60, I've learned that life can either slip quietly through your fingers, or it can be rich, full, and vibrant. And the difference is these habits. I've lived long enough to see both paths. Friends who let go of movement, of healthy food, of learning, of connections. Their days became smaller, their bodies weaker, their minds quieter. And I've lived to see the opposite. Those who protected their routines, who prioritized their sleep, who respected their boundaries, who stayed curious and connected. They age differently. More energy, more joy, more purpose. I can still dance in my kitchen in the mornings, and it fills me with a sense of life that can't be measured. I read books that challenge me, learn new things that surprise me, laugh with friends and family, and I know that I am still fully myself. This is what these habits give you, not just health, but a life that feels alive. And I want you to feel that, to understand that at 60, 70, even 80, it's never too late. Never too late to reclaim your energy, your curiosity, your independence. I remember looking at myself at 65, feeling tired, thinking I should give up certain routines, thinking it was too late. And I see now how wrong I was, because when I chose to protect my habits, when I chose to insist on what mattered to me, life opened up in ways I hadn't imagined. And I am telling you this because I want you to see the same possibilities for yourself. Don't let anyone, no matter how well-meaning, take these away. Don't give up your walks, your meals, your learning, your connections, your sleep, your health checkups, your boundaries. Hold them close, cherish them, defend them, because each habit is a thread that weaves your life into something strong, resilient, and full of joy. And when you do, you will feel it. The confidence in your body, the clarity in your mind, the warmth in your heart. That is the reward. That is what holding on to these habits gives you. And I promise you, if you choose this path, the rest of your years, no matter how many, will be richer, brighter, and full of purpose. And that is why these 7 habits, these simple, small, yet powerful daily practices, matter more than anything else after 60. And now, my dear, I want to leave you with this. The life you have after 60, 70, 80, or even 90 is shaped by the small choices you make every day, the habits you protect, the routines you honor, the boundaries you set. I am 92, and I can tell you with every fiber of my being, it is never too late to start, to reclaim, to insist on what matters to you. The 7 habits I've shared, movement, nutrition, connection, mental engagement, sleep, health vigilance, and protecting your personal boundaries. They are not just habits, they are your lifeline. I want you to picture yourself tomorrow morning, stepping outside for a walk, feeling the air on your face, tasting a meal that nourishes you, calling a friend, reading a few pages of a book, feeling your mind stretch and wake, knowing you have taken care of your body, honored your sleep, and held firm to your routines. That picture, that is the life that awaits you if you choose to protect these habits. I know it can feel hard, sometimes lonely. Sometimes the people around you will question you, and it may feel easier to give in. But the truth is, giving up these habits is giving up a part of yourself. And I promise you, the rewards of holding on are far greater than the discomfort of standing firm. Your energy will grow, your mind will stay sharp, your heart will stay open, and most importantly, your life will feel fully yours. And I want you to remember this, that every small action you take in protecting these habits, every step you walk, every meal you choose, every conversation you have, every word you read, every night you rest properly, every visit to your doctor, every boundary you defend, it adds up. It creates a life that is strong, vibrant, and full of purpose. So please, take care of yourself. Insist on these habits. Cherish them. Do not give them up for anyone, no matter how much they plead, no matter how well-intentioned they may be, because your life, your dignity, your joy depends on it. And if you do this, if you hold on to these 7 habits, you will find a sense of peace and pride that is unmatched. You will look back on your days and know that you lived fully, that you honored yourself, and that you carried your life with strength and grace. And that, my dear, is the greatest gift you can give yourself after 60.